Let's dive right into this explainer by shattering a pretty massive myth about how the skies are controlled today. You know those dramatic, close-range dogfights from World War II, the ones with planes turning tightly and firing machine guns? Yep, those are entirely a thing of the past. The rules of modern aerial warfare have completely transformed. Today, whoever fires first from the furthest distance wins the fight. Period. That is the new reality of the skies. And today we're looking at the exact weapon that's giving India that deadly reach, the Astra Beyond Visual Range Air-to-Air Missile. To break this all down, here is our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The modern aerial dogfight. 2. Timeline to indigenous missiles. 3. India's strategic advantage. 4. Global challenges and upgrades. 5. The future Astra ecosystem. And finally, 6. Key memory triggers.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the modern aerial dogfight.
I want you to ask yourself this crucial question. How do you actually win a dogfight today? Because, like we just talked about, the answer no longer relies on tight, acrobatic maneuvers. It completely relies on your ability to reach out and strike a target that is moving at supersonic speeds long before the enemy even knows you're in the same airspace. It's just a totally different game now, one built on stealth, sensors, and incredible range.
And that brings us to a concept you absolutely need to know. BVR, or Beyond Visual Range. This means destroying an enemy jet up to 110 kilometers away. To put that into perspective, that's roughly the distance from New York to Philadelphia. You're taking out a target long before the human eye ever makes visual contact. And this is exactly what India's indigenous solid-propellant Astra Mk-1 achieves. It's currently seeing mass induction into the Indian Air Force's Sukhoi 30 and indigenous Tejas fighter fleets, and it is fundamentally changing their combat reach.
Let's move on to Section 2, Timeline to Indigenous Missiles.
What's really fascinating here is the massive tactical problem that basically forced India to develop this technology in the first place. Historically, there was a stark vulnerability up there in the sky. Back in 1999, during Kargil, the IAF relied entirely on imported French Super 530D missiles. But the real wake-up call? That happened in 2019, following Balakot. During that dogfight, the imported Russian R-77 missiles India was using were actually slightly outranged by Pakistani F-16s firing American AMRAAMs. That exact moment created an undeniable, urgent need for the DRDO to step up and deliver a superior indigenous solution to regain air supremacy.
Which naturally leads us to Section 3, India's strategic advantage.
So, what is the direct, tangible impact of the Astra on defense capabilities? Well, there are 3 core takeaways you need to lock in. First up is BVR supremacy. The Astra Mk-1 travels at a blistering Mach 4.5. Literally 4.5 times the speed of sound. This gives Indian pilots a critical first-shoot, first-kill advantage against adversaries like Chinese J-10s or Pakistani F-16s, all without ever entering the dangerous close combat zone. Second is active radar homing. The pilot fires, and for the final 15 kilometers, the missile actually guides itself using its own active radar in the nose. This means the jet can instantly turn away and evade enemy fire. And third, import independence. This completely secures the arsenal so it doesn't dry up during prolonged conflicts.
To truly understand the sheer value of that independence, think about this number, $2 million. That is roughly the cost of a single imported European Meteor missile. Equipping hundreds of fighter jets with imported weapons at that price point, it's financially devastating. Astra completely changes the math. By bringing production in-house through stakeholders like Bharat Dynamics Limited, they are saving billions of dollars and ensuring the supply chain never gets interrupted.
Let's pivot slightly for Section 4, Global Challenges and Upgrades.
We need to look at the global stage for a second, because it's so important to appreciate how incredibly difficult this engineering feat actually is. Mastering supersonic three-dimensional missile intercepts puts you in an incredibly exclusive club, limited to just the US, Russia, China, France, Israel, and now India. But you know what the real edge is? Platform integration. With imported missiles, you're locked in. You are entirely dependent on foreign manufacturers for software permissions just to make the missile talk to the jet. But with the Astra ecosystem, India owns the key. They own the source code. This means they have total control to seamlessly integrate the weapon onto Russian Sukhois, French Mirages, or indigenous Tejas jets without having to ask anyone for permission.
Now, let's look at what's next in Section 5, the future Astra ecosystem.
The reality of defense tech is that as soon as one missile is inducted, adversaries upgrade theirs. It's a continuous arms race. So Astra isn't just one missile.
It's building into an entire evolutionary ecosystem. We have the current Mk-1 with its 110-kilometer range and solid propellant. But they are already testing the Mk-2, which stretches that range to 160 kilometers using dual-pulse rocket motors. That dual-pulse tech is vital because it essentially ensures the missile doesn't run out of energy during the final high-speed chase. And looking even further ahead, there's the Holy Grail, the Astra Mk-3. This aims for a massive 300-kilometer-plus reach by utilizing solid-fuel ducted Ramjet technology to match the legendary European Meteor missile.
All right, let's wrap this all up with Section 6, Key Memory Triggers.
We've covered a lot of ground today, so let's lock in these 3 core concepts for quick recall. Trigger number 1, BVR, or Beyond Visual Range Combat. Just remember, this defines the entire modern approach to aerial warfare, hitting the enemy before they even have a chance to see you.
Trigger number 2, Active Radar Seeker. This is that brilliant self-guiding technology in the nose that allows the Indian pilot to fire, let the weapon guide itself for those final 15 kilometers, and immediately turn away to safety. And finally, trigger number 3, SFDR technology, or Solid Fuel Ducted Ramjet. This is the incredibly advanced propulsion technology that's going to power the massive 300-kilometer reach of the future Astra Mk-3.
The Astra Mk-1 and its future variants absolutely guarantee that India has the reach and the technology to dominate the air. But as we finish up this explainer, I want to leave you with a pretty provocative thought to explore next. If the Astra controls the skies above, what indigenous weapon will systematically blind the enemy's defenses on the ground? Well, that brings us to the Rudra missile, and that is exactly what we'll be diving into next time.